Well, just a quick video today on third species counterpoint. Let's just jump right in. So, it's worth going over the three rules for the treatment of dissonance again, just so they're fresh in our minds as we carry on and look at third species counterpoint. So, at the bottom of the screen here, I've got an example of second species counterpoint. I think this is one of the examples from the previous video, in fact, and I've annotated this diagram with the dissonances marked and circled in red. So our three rules are: dissonances must be on the weak beat of the bar, they must be approached and left by step, and they must be sandwiched between two consonances. So in this case, our dissonances are in fact on the weak beat of the bar. They're always on the second minim. They must be approached and left by step. Well, in this case, they are. This dissonance here, and this dissonance here, and this dissonance here have all been approached and left by step. That E drops down by step to the D, which then drops down by step to the C. This E moves up by step to the F, which then moves up by step to the G, and then moves down by step to this F, and then down by step again to that E. And dissonances must be sandwiched between two consonances. And in this case, they are. We've got an octave here and a fifth here. There's a sixth there and a third there and a fifth there. So that's how dissonances are treated correctly. And if you treat dissonance correctly, you end up with a relatively idiomatic sound. Those dissonances feel natural within the phrase or within the bar. I might just play this through just so we can get a sense of what these dissonances sound like in context, and then we'll move on and have a look at an example of third species counterpoint. Okay, so there's a little extract which involves some sort of correct treatment of dissonance. So let's have a look at what third species counterpoint looks like. So it's actually more or less the same, really, as second species, but this time we are allowed, we've got 4 crotchets in a bar as opposed to 2 minims, and therefore we've got more opportunity for dissonances to appear. If we consider those 3 rules again, dissonances must be on the weak beat of the bar, they must be approached and left by step, and they must be sandwiched between 2 consonances. Well, in fact, that gives us the opportunity to use dissonances on the second, third, and fourth beats of the bar. Those beats are considered like the weaker beats. You might sometimes have an accent on the third beat of the bar, but in this case, we're treating that third beat, or we're treating the second, third, and fourth beats of the bar as our weak beats. So as you can see in this example, we've actually got a dissonance on the second beat of the bar, sorry, on the third beat of the bar here, on the second beat here, on the third beat here, and on the fourth beat here. So there's plenty more opportunity to incorporate dissonance. And that means you can use dissonances much more often. In the previous example, we only had 3 dissonances across that entire example, and here we've got a dissonance in every bar. So we can be quite, we can explore dissonance a little bit more. Right, but because we've got kind of much more scope to explore dissonance, we can actually use one of the exceptions to the rule. So this formation here is called a cambiata, and a cambiata is a kind of it's a way of treating dissonance that breaks one of the rules. So in this case, we've got this seventh. This seventh has been approached by step, but it's not been left by step. And that's one of our sort of crucial rules from before. Instead, we skip down a third, and then we move up a step to where the dissonance would have usually resolved. So it'll sound a little bit like this. That's the cambiata. And it's a fairly kind of idiomatic technique. It's worth just emphasising that it's always the same formation. So we start off, we've got this dissonance, we leap down a third, and then we move up a step to where the dissonance would have usually resolved. So the dissonance would usually resolve on the A, as so. But here, we kind of skip down and move up a step to that usual resolution. I tend to think of it as though we're approaching that resolution by a kind of pincer movement. So we're approaching that resolution by the note above and the note below. So that's broadly it. We skip down a third. We skip down a third to a consonance. It's just worth actually bearing that in mind. So you can't skip to another dissonance. And then we move up a step to the note where we would have usually resolved that dissonance on the second beat. That's the Cambiata. That's what it looks like. So let's quickly just recount the sort of rules for a third species counterpoint exercise. So we need to have 4 crotchets per bar. At the beginning, though, it's really typical to make use of a crotchet rest. So when you're working on these exercises, it's worth just whacking a crotchet rest into the first beat of the bar and carrying on. Dissonances must be on the weak beats of the bar, so the second, third and fourth beats. They must be approached and left by step, and you must sandwich those dissonances between 2 consonances, unless you're making use of a Cambiata. But remember that the Cambiata has a particular form to it. So you should go back to the previous slide and potentially have a look at that and make sure you're getting that totally correct. As always, no parallel fifths or octaves. You can't have 2 fifths or 2 octaves next to each other, and it should be like mostly stepwise motion. That, in sum, are the most important, I think, rules for third species counterpoint. So let's actually practice writing a third species counterpoint response. I've given you a cantus firmus here in the bass, and if you'd like, you can pause the video here and have a go at writing a top part for this given tune, or this given bass line. Right, so this is what an answer might look like. I'll just play it through for you at the piano, so you've got a sense of what it sounds like, and then we'll just talk through what's going on. Okay, so there we are. That's a perfectly good answer for this exercise. You can see that we've got plenty of use of dissonance. So we've got a dissonance here on the third beat of the bar, which has been approached and left by step. Again here on the second beat of the bar, again that's been approached and left by step. So plenty of use of dissonance here, and far more than we would expect in a second species response. And I've also marked in a Cambiata in green. So here we've got that sort of pincer movement. We've landed on this 7th, which is a dissonance. We leap down a third to that consonant 5th, and then we move up a step to where that dissonance would have usually resolved. And that gives us that kind of pincer movement to that resolution. So there we are. That's what it looks like. It's not. I'm sure there are better answers to this out there, and I'm sure actually there are probably more opportunities to make use of, say, a Cambiata or a sort of or other dissonances in this response, but this sort of follows all the rules and is a perfectly good response to that given cantus firmus. So let's carry on. you might want to have a go at writing a response to the same cantus firmus, but this time in the bass. So pause the video here, have a go at writing a third species counterpoint to this given part, but in the bass this time. Okay, here's a sample answer. Again, notice that we've got a plenty of use of dissonances in the bass. So again, like we've got maybe a dissonance in every bar, and those dissonances have been approached and left by step. They're always on the weak beats of the bar, and they're always sandwiched between two consonances. The only exception being our Cambiata here, where we've got that fourth. This fourth is left by a leap. We leap down a third to a consonant, to that consonant sixth, and then we go up a step to a fifth. I'll just play that through at the piano so that you've got an idea of what it sounds like as well. Okay, so there it is. Right, so that's about it for today. Thank you very much for watching. If you are feeling as though you're a little bit stuck, it would be worth just going back and having a look at those videos on first species and second species counterpoint again, just to reinforce your knowledge of consonant versus dissonant intervals, and also to reinforce those three rules for the correct treatment of dissonance, because those are really important within species counterpoint, but they're also really useful if you're trying to use dissonance in a really idiomatic way in your own writing. So anyway, I hope that's been useful. I hope that's, you're able to sort of develop your use of dissonance in your own writing, and thank you very much. See you next time.